Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is the OT Sports Show. We're here one more time on another Wednesday evening,
What's
ready to
going
talk
on? What's
sports. We're
going
here
on?
live. Once again, I'm here with my main man, Trenton. This is Omar Pickett. We're here live for another episode of the OT Sports Show. Please take a time to like, comment, share. We just want to go ahead and talk sports with you all on this nice Wednesday evening. Trent, how you feeling, man?
I am excited, man. There's so much to talk about. From breaking news just recently, if you go back, I mentioned it. That's all I'm gonna say. I mentioned it. I talked about it. You heard it. Y'all heard it here when I mentioned it. We're gonna talk about it. But it's just so much. The free agency has already been crazy. The madness. I have to swallow some words. Both in the men's and the women's league, and it hurt my heart, y'all. I'm just be honest with you. My pride.
Man, let me tell you, from breaking news to breaking brackets, that's what happened this weekend. Not just your bracket, my bracket was destroyed too. Last I checked, I thought Rocky Top was going to represent for me to get the national championship. Turns out that they ended up getting hit with the Stone Cold Stunner by Michigan, but we're going to talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're going to talk about it a little later, but we are excited. One more time, it's another good episode. We're going to go ahead and get started right into the breaking news. We were going to start out with March Madness. Yeah. That's what we prepared for. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Terrence. You said I showed up with. I thank you, man. I appreciate it. We trying hard here.
Hey, I'm trying to represent. Eddie Fresh, though.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. This might not be here next week, but I'm trying. I'm doing my thing, man.
That's funny.
But we're going to go ahead and get started. Basically, we were going to talk about March Madness. That was going to be our first topic. We were ready for it. And then we got the big news about Kyrie, about the mask mandate being lifted.
Crazy.
And now people are being, he's going to be able to play in the home games. This is huge news. This is huge news now that Kyrie Irving, one of the best point guards in all the NBA, is now going to be playing alongside with Kevin Durant. We got to go ahead and ask the question. Does this now make the New York Nets the championship favorites at this point? Trent, how do you feel about the New Jersey Nets now with Kyrie and Durant? Are they your favorites to win it all?
I like them. I like them a lot. With Kyrie, I like them a lot. And I definitely think the percentage of them winning has gone up tremendously. But I still have some concerns. They're both, because they both are still known to get hurt a lot, and it always be in the worst moments. You know what I mean? Like, I love them, and I think if they stay healthy, with with the pieces they got from the trade, I think with I don't know, Ben is still not looking too good. Doesn't really look like that's
looking too good. Is he looking anywhere?
Yeah, that's.
He looked fine just sitting on the sideline. Apparently, he's just fine with that because that's all he's really doing. He's just sitting there.
Hey, but even Zion's dunking again. I ain't seen him do nothing.
He dunking them paychecks. That's about all he's doing right now. Basically. He's certainly not dunking a basketball. Basically. That is a very good point. Yeah. But, man, we've got these New Jersey Nets now. We got to talk about Kyrie and, what this really means. This is interesting because we just saw Kyrie almost score 130 points on the Orlando Magic last week. And then you saw just how dominant he can be. He's had 2 50-point games in the month of March, and he hasn't been able to play most of the games. So Crazy. The fact that, you have that type of electric score, and he's really kept his body healthy on top of that, I tell you, it really makes the Nets, even as the 8 seed, look extremely dangerous. But for me, the question comes down to, are we up here? I love what Cedric had to say. He said Zion is Dunkin' Donuts. That's about all he's dunking basketballs and Dunkin' Donuts. He's right.
I would like to point out though, the Nets were getting pounded just a few minutes ago, and they're now only down by 4 at Memphis. So hey, we'll see.
I'm letting you guys know, we know what the Nets record are. It's 38-34. They're currently the 8th seed. They got about 10 games left, and they're 3 games away from avoiding the play-in. I think they're going to have to play in the play-in,
Oh yeah, they are.
which
I
makes
think
it
they will.
very scary. They're going to be a real scary 7 or 8 seed, probably the favorite over whoever they're going to play. I'm with you, Trent. I don't know if I can yet trust the Nets. They may be the team you kind of place the most faith in out of anybody, but I don't know if you can truly trust
Yeah,
Kyrie. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna be there? Is he not gonna be there? Is he gonna be healthy? Is he gonna play? Is Ben Simmons gonna play? Because that's gonna be a big factor. You look at their record when Kyrie and Durant plays, they're 5-2, averaging over 129 points a game. But when they played together, they lost to Boston. You know, are they going to really beat Miami in a 7-game series? Are they going to beat Philly in a 7-game series? Are they going to beat Milwaukee in a 7-game series? So
yeah.
it's a lot that really goes into it. You don't know if Ben Simmons is going to be there. I feel like if Ben Simmons were 100% and we're playing and you knew what his status was along with Kyrie and
Oh
everything,
yeah.
I would be
Oh yeah.
good calling them the favorites.
Oh yeah.
I just don't
That's
know.
simple right there. That's easy work right there.
I don't know if I feel all the way comfortable yet. There's certainly going to be a tough out. I don't know how you're going to ask uh, a team to, beat them 4 times in a 7-game stretch. But my thing is, can you really trust, what this Nets team is going to be? Can you trust what Kyrie's going to do? It will actually benefit them to play. I'm with you, Terrence. I think it is going to benefit them. The more chemistry they get, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. These 10 games that Kyrie's going to get, critical to get chemistry, critical.
Yes.
But where's Ben
Get that
Simmons?
rhythm going.
But where's Ben Simmons? Is he even going to show up? Is he even going to play in the
I don't
playoffs?
know,
So,
bro.
what kind of chemistry is he going to have? That's why, to me, it's so wide open. Um, I mean, if you asked me if I was going to pick somebody, um, I mean, the East is such a it could go
It's
anywhere.
gonna be a fight, man. I love it.
Man, we were going to talk about Boston today. Boston had won like 9 to 10. We
Yeah.
were going to talk about if the Celtics were ready to, really take that next step, with Jason Tatum and stuff. And now you hear about this with the Nets. I'm telling you,
I'm not.
the East.
I'm not sure about them either. Just for
You're
the
not
fact
sure.
that they haven't done it yet. They haven't done it when it matters yet. I just
I'm
I just I can't just say I can't give them a nod yet. They have some people have to earn the nod. Like it just takes the moment and them finally doing it, and then you believe in them moving forward. You know what I mean? Because they haven't done it. I just can't. I can't. Because they've always melted. They've always fallen short when it came down to that time.
What about Miami? Miami made the finals 2
At
years
least they
ago.
got there. So we're talking about. I'm thinking about just simply coming out the East at this. Well, that's what
Mhm.
I'm thinking about. Just because you got to come out the East to play in the championship.
I'll be honest with you. There's about 6 teams that if any of them came out the East, I would not be terribly shocked.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
I agree.
going to be it's gonna be
But
this might
I
be
can't
one of the
say
best
that
and most
I
balanced
just can't
playoffs
say
we've
that.
had.
Oh, I definitely this team. This team is the favorite. You know I can't do that for Boston. I just can't. Because it when it, in the crunch time when the butt gets tight and it's time to play for real and that playoff defense is going on where it's not the regular season, the playoff defense is going and they're in a 7-game series with Miami. Do you trust Boston then? I can't say I trust Boston then.
Tatum, this is Tatum's time. He's got to, we
He
keep talking about how he's going to be a
he
great
better.
player, but he's got to really show it.
He's still
Uh,
only one person though.
And the one thing you can say though about the Nets, and you know what Durant is,
Yeah,
you
for
know
sure.
what Kyrie is. There's a little bit more trust in those players
Yeah.
than maybe any other players that you have in the East. Um, even I would
Well,
say even over Greek Freak and Middleton, even though they won a championship. I mean, my thing is there's such a sustained history.
no, hold on. Talk about. Can you? Oh, talk about now. You can't tell me. You can't tell me Giannis is one of the best. Is what you said that arguably Giannis is arguably the best player in the league. You can't say that and then come back and hit me with that right there.
No, what I'm saying, I'm talking about the combination of
Oh,
Giannis and Middleton,
okay.
not just
I'm about to
Giannis.
say Omar.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay, you talking?
Hold
Oh,
on,
you
let
talking
me
about
finish.
Middleton? Oh, you're right. I don't
Yeah,
like Middleton
so the
either.
combination of Kyrie and Durant, you trust that more than you trust the combination of Greek Freak and Middleton. And that's what I'm saying. More than definitely, I trust the combination of Joel Embiid and James Harden, who hasn't showed up for a playoff yet, in his
I
probably entire career. So
I'll trust Jalen Brown and Tatum before I even trust Embiid and Harden. I'm just
I,
being honest.
the East is wide open, and I think it just it just firmly establishes that the Nets are going to be there and they're going to be a threat. I'm with you, Trent. I don't know if I can definitively say any team in the East is a definitive favorite. And we're
Yeah,
not even talking about the West and the Suns and the Grizzlies and when Steph comes back for Golden State. We're not even talking about
yeah.
them. So that just lets you know how wide open this playoff is going to be. It's going to be really, really fun. Any last words, Trent?
Uh, it's gonna be interesting because because playoff ball is just so different.
Mm-hmm.
That so I yeah, I know the Celtics went on a run. Okay, cool. But that playoff defense it's another story. It is different, man. We seen teams just do. They play different, bro. We'll see. We'll
Well,
see.
I'm with Deshaun right there. We're not even talking about, the West with the
Yeah,
Suns. And that's what I'm saying. It's so wide open. You know, there's no reason to think that the Suns, when they get Paul and Booker back, that they can't be
yeah.
right in line with the favorites to win the championship. So like I said, man, it's wide
I
open.
don't
I don't
know
know
though.
how you
But are they still gonna be? Are they still gonna have the momentum that they had when they were playing last? That's the
well,
thing.
who from the
I
West
don't.
is taking it from them? Golden State, you see the injury that
But you
Steph
gotta.
got.
But you have to have. But I mean, but as a team, you have to play with chemistry when you play in the game. I don't know if they're gonna have after being away, being hurt, being that the team's identity kind of shifts because they got to do, and when you insert them right back into the plan, it just may not be good. It just may not be good.
Keep in mind, they are going to have glorified practices against the Lakers. That's going to really, help them get their chemistry back. So
All right.
I'm just saying,
Keep on playing with them old men. You know that old man game. Old man game was one of many 21 games in wrecks around the world. I'm telling
yeah, they play 21, and then after 21 points, they're ready to sit down. That's why the second and third quarters are so awful. But that's the Lakers for you. I ain't studying them, but yeah, it's going to be a fun NBA playoffs, and hopefully, it's going to be as fun as March Madness has been because March Madness has really been wild. Um, as we all know, it's really going through. Both our brackets got busted. Trent had
no,
Baylor winning it
both
all.
both of my
Yeah.
brackets got. I'm talking about my men's and women's bracket got busted. Both of them are pointless.
Well, nobody told you to go against Don Staley. You chose on your own accord.
But
So
they didn't even get there.
South Carolina trying their best to make sure nobody scored them in the entire tournament. The way they playing defense right now.
Le-
I mean,
the
I
Legions
mean,
of Boom. That's what they
I
remind me of.
good gracious, man.
Good grief.
Yeah,
Oh
bad
my
news, South
God.
Carolina. Y'all better not play against them. But yeah, I had Tennessee winning
But
against Purdue in the
Creighton.
final.
Get
They're
off the
out.
Creighton.
Trent had Arizona. He had Baylor winning it all. They're out. So now we're basically in second chance
Go
mode.
Heels. Look,
Yeah.
I can't be that mad. The Heels beat them. You know what I mean? So, I'm not that upset. But I just didn't. I just thought they had enough. I thought they was going to have enough to get the job done. And, I mean, the Heels played wonderfully. Oh, those refs, though, the refs in that Heels game were horrible. Should it really be honest? Baylor shouldn't have came back. Shouldn't even have been able to come back like they did in that game. It was to me, it was obvious. It reminded me, I'm gonna say it again. It reminded me of that drive by the Rams. They knew what they wanted to happen. So when it came down to it, they started trying to call the game like they wanted it to be called.
I,
Man,
I got
it was
I got to take
crazy.
a commercial break. Terrence, Arizona is bad, but they fouled at the end of the game against TCU in regulation. That was a blatant foul.
Oh yeah.
TCU should have been shooting free throws to win that game. I
Yeah.
felt like
They really,
Arizona
now,
got
that's what I'm saying. Like, I really believe that is blatant. Like, bro, I saw them push my little guard, Davis, basically push him into the backcourt, and then they call backcourt on my man. Like, come on, bro. Like, it just ain't right, bro. It just ain't right. And they're acting as if we not watching the game.
I'm like, they swallowed the whistle. They didn't want to call foul in the game, but my opinion, if it's a foul, it's a foul. I don't care if it's in the second quarter. I don't care if it's in first 10 minutes of the game. I don't care if it's in the last 3 seconds. If it's a foul,
They
it's a
mugged
foul.
that man though. Arizona mugged. They mugged that man.
But anyway, let's get to the next topic. I know we're talking about March Madness. Trent, talk about what are your biggest surprises in March Madness so far.
Hey,
What do you think your big surprises as of
you
right
know what
now?
I go to say, bro. You gotta go with St. Peter's, bro. You gotta go. St. Peter's, like, who are they? like where are they?
That's a great place to start. Like, who are they? We don't even know. We don't
like,
even know who
like
they are.
it's a little school in New Jersey, in Jersey City. Y'all, when I tell you, it's like I was looking at it, they looking at the money spent, bro. Look at it this way. They beat Kentucky, who when you think about, we already know Kentucky spends a whole lot of money, millions of dollars on their basketball program. Their coach makes like over 9 million a season. Meanwhile, St. Peter's is one of the has one of the smallest revenue being put into their team. They have their best player is a 3-star. I thought I heard something else different before, but you know how people be lying. But their actual best player on their team, as far as recruiting out of high school, is a 3-star. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing right now, and the fact that they, after beating Kentucky, you would think, well, it ain't gonna surprise nobody else. It ain't gonna be no surprise no more. So Murray State gonna come out and thrash them. No, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like,
And that's
y'all.
not just, and
I
yeah,
watched that game against Kentucky. This was a close game, y'all. This was not a thing where they just jumped up on Kentucky and and just beat them down. No, it was a close game. They were in a close game, down to the wire. They went to overtime. It was a close game, and it was interesting to me because I look at their players. You're talking about with St. Peter's, it's mostly juniors, and a few seniors sprinkled here and there, and then a few one freshman and a couple of sophomores. But the main five that at the end of the game that Coach Holloway trusts is 4 juniors and a senior. That's who's on the court. And I'm telling, and he said it. I heard it from his mouth. He said these were the boys. These boys came with me here. These are the guys that I brought here when I came here. So, y'all, he has his crew. They got that age. They got that experience in playing with each other. And you could tell they were backdooring Kentucky, cutting on Kentucky the whole game. It was crazy. And then they play defense. They're all over the place. They're big on the hustle, big on the effort. I loved watching them play. Now, they're not the greatest talented team. Kentucky was a more talented team. Like, when you look at even the numbers, like, their best player during the regular season averaged like a little over 11 points a game. And here the young man is dropping 27 in the biggest game of his life. Like, and then another kid off the bench who's actually one of those juniors that the coach trusts. He comes off the bench, and so he's in the game at the end of the game because the actual starter, one of the kids that starts, is actually a freshman. So, but when it gets close, he brings in that senior. Excuse me, the junior. He had 23 or 20. Them boys was balling, and then against Murray State, it was really a team effort because I think you had 1 or 2 of them in double figures. Everybody else was like 9, 8, 7. It was, y'all. They beat Murray State by 10. They never trailed in that game against Murray State. Never trailed.
I'm
It
shocked.
wasn't close. Wasn't close.
I'm shocked by that. And Terrence, you're right about Cinderella teams always being older. That's a constant theme. I'm gonna
Yeah,
bring that up a
that's
little
true.
bit later with another team.
Because they're not getting the blue chippers. You know what I mean? So it's not those crazy talented teams that have a whole lot of talent that just outplays people. Like you would expect a Kentucky or maybe a Duke or a Carolina to do. But they're really a team that had to build chemistry and that knows each other. And you could tell, man, how they was cutting on them boys and backdooring them. Y'all, it was beautiful. I'm just being honest. It was beautiful to watch how they played the game, and that they really had that coach's attitude. Coach Holloway, he's a New Yorker, and you can hear it in his voice when he talk. If you listen to him talk, you see he's hilarious. but he's also a former player. He was a highly recruited basketball player himself. He actually went to Seton Hall. And guess what? That was the last time a school from New Jersey was actually in the Sweet 16. So you're talking about, yeah, I'm telling you, the boy was nice. And he was on the team. He was on that team. It was like 1990 something. He was on that Seton Hall team, hooping, little guard. I mean, he played well. He was a 4-year. I want to say he was a 4-year starter at Seton Hall, and he was just too small though. He's only 5'10", and so he played out. He played overseas after that, but but the boy, he that toughness, you can see it all. It's all in the veins of the team. They don't back down. They ain't scared. They gonna bring it, and I don't think they're gonna. I do not believe they have enough to beat Purdue. They're too small. Tallest person on their team is 6'10", and he don't really play that much. And you talk about they're gonna be going against a 7'4" kid from Purdue. Another I think a 6'11" kid that they have that's a monster. It's just bro, if they beat Purdue, I'm just throwing everything away.
I just want to point out, like it shows up there, only 3 15 seeds have ever made the Sweet 16. None have ever made the Elite Eight. They would be the greatest, maybe the greatest Cinderella ever if they end up beating Purdue and make it to the Elite Eight.
If they beat, I will say that they are. If they beat Purdue, what they're going to have to do, like they're going to have to play bigger, even than what they've had done, because they played big, but they're going to have to play even bigger because this team is bigger. And as I look at that Iowa, I just want to shed a tear. I just want to, because it was really Caitlin's fault, and I feel so bad because the girl has delivered so many times, and she just had a bad day. She had a bad. On the worst possible day. She had a bad day.
I do want to say
she had open shots. It won't even like the defense was like great. She had open shots. She was just off. Baby girl was just off. And
she's a sophomore though, right, Trent?
Yeah, that's it. That's
okay.
It. So she'll be back.
Yeah.
But the other girl won't though. I think she's a senior, and that's big. You talk about the second. That's her other half. Like that, because she was the reason why they was in it. She was hooping. I think Monica, I think is her name. I can't remember. But she was hooping. She had 27, 28. But yeah, man. I RIP Iowa, bro. RIP my brackets.
Well, somebody gonna win this $100. We know it won't be Trenton based on his picks.
Nope.
He should have been like me and picked 3 different national champions. My other 2 national champions are still available. But yeah. So that was definitely part of it. I want to talk about my surprises. I can't talk too bad because I got to talk about Michigan, a team that I came on here last week and said they should not have been in the tournament. And my opinion hadn't changed. I still don't think they should have been in the tournament. With that said, they went from slapping coaches to slapping my national title pick. Because they sure did beat the brakes. They sure did beat up on my Tennessee Volunteers that I picked to win it all.
Hey, and it held them as they cried.
I know, right? They're sitting here. Come on, let me console you. Let me console you, Omar. I know you picked them to win and didn't pick us to be in the tournament, but let me just, let it be known. That was a Tennessee team that had, people thought was one of the hottest teams in the country, having come off and win the SEC tournament. And, don't talk, but Michigan has been to 5 straight Sweet 16s. So you've got to give Michigan their props, even if I feel like their team was not as good as it should have been in the regular season. They had not won back-to-back games since mid-February. And then to go on a stretch like this where they beat a higher seeded Colorado State and then beat the SEC champion Tennessee, it says a lot about them. Keep in mind, Juwan Howard, the last tournament he was in the Elite Eight. Who's to say he can't do it again? This man, he may go WWE on some of these coaches, but that man can coach. And you got to give him his props. That's interesting because people thought really that he was going to lose his job. And you go from that to really doing an incredible job there at Michigan, getting his team to focus. You know, Hunter Dickinson had 27-11. Eli Brooks had 23-5. They played big time in their biggest game of the year. And who's to say they won't do the same thing against Villanova in the Sweet 16?
Do you think they beat Nova?
I'm. Let me tell you, you know,
Does,
Jay
does Nova
Wright.
play? Does Nova play big in the paint? They better. They better, because if they don't, that bro Dickinson eats.
He ate
Yo,
that game.
and you could tell that's why you see the genius of Howard, bro. Juwan, you could tell that was planned, because he knew that that Tennessee was soft in the middle, and they just threw it in, pass it. It was like pass it to Hunter, pass it to Hunter, pass it to Hunter. That's what it was.
I'm sorry, Brian distracted me talking about Juwan versus Jake Paul. Nah, no, I'll do you one better. Juwan Howard versus Jake Paul in a steel cage at WrestleMania in a couple weeks. I think that would be ready to go. Or take that Wisconsin head coach, the one that he slapped around. Because I tell you what, those boys are playing. And is Wisconsin still in it? Wisconsin out, ain't they?
Yeah, they out.
Yeah.
They're
So
not there.
Wisconsin's going to sit there and watch Juwan Howard continue to play. So poetic justice, because
They
I
should
never
have
did
been
like
bobbing and weaving.
it should have been, because I never did appreciate them calling timeout with 15 seconds left to go up 14. Like that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
low class, and that's why you guys are watching.
And then stop me. Why you talking? Why you got your hand on me? Like let's let me go. You going about your business, and I'm gonna go about mine. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, so I gotta go with Michigan.
I gotta slap you. Well, I gotta. Oh my bad. I gotta slap your staff member, because he didn't hit the dude. He didn't hit the head coach. He hit one of the staffers.
Well, he wanted to go for the head coach. That's what he wanted to do. But so we're gonna go from Michigan. I gotta talk about South Dakota
That was
knocking
crazy.
off Baylor. Now, people don't realize what a big deal. I just said Michigan has been to 5 straight Sweet 16s, which is second most in college basketball to Gonzaga with 7. Baylor had been to 12 consecutive Sweet 16s, which was the 4th longest streak in the history of college basketball. And they lose to South Dakota. Like, this was just out of nowhere. Baylor was a pick for mine to easily go to the Final Four, didn't even think about it. And now not only did you have Iowa going down, 2-seed Iowa, you have 2-seed Baylor going down in the same day. That really doesn't happen a lot when you look at the women's tournaments. But let me tell you, you did say it.
My team.
Trenton did say that this year it was probably going to be more crazy on the women's side because of you didn't see any real dominant teams.
And those records were very similar in places. And I was like, you know what? I'm telling you, it's gonna get dicey. I just didn't expect it to be Iowa.
I didn't expect it to be Baylor either. So, I mean, you're talking about a South Dakota team that went 1-4 against Power 5 teams this year. But let me bring this up, Trenton. What does South Dakota rely on? 3 super seniors. And for you guys to know what super seniors are, those are seniors that got an extra year due to COVID.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Okay.
Extra seniors. So, again, that veteran leadership in March Madness matters. So just remember this time next year when you guys are picking your brackets, how many juniors and seniors are on those mid-major teams, and that's what's going to show you, what teams are really going to be poised to potentially make a run. So those are really our surprise teams as of right now. One thing I do want to point out, even with that, we got to get into, now that we've got that taken care of, Trent, both our national championship teams have been knocked out. We're 1 weekend in. Who do you got cutting down the nets now?
I think Purdue. Now, don't St. Peter's.
Which means St. Peter's going to beat them. It means St. Peter's going to beat them.
Y'all better not, St. Peter's. Y'all better not do me like that. But I'm gonna say Purdue's gonna win the men's, and I'm gonna go with my girl, my former Sting. I'm going with South Carolina. I'm going with them, bro. I ain't gonna go against her again.
I know TJ apparently got his eye on NC State. I would like to see NC State, really make some noise and potentially get up in there. I'm sticking with South Carolina. Of course, I'm sticking with the Fighting Dawn Staley's. I was there before, so that's one team that's still there. But right now, I think I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to it's weird because I had Texas Tech coming out of that bracket, and they're
Yeah,
still in it. I'm going to say
but
something crazy. I think I'm going with the Zags. I think I'm going to go with the Zags. I do.
like really?
I think so. I think so.
Oh.
I thought I thought they were going to lose this. I thought they were going to lose to Memphis.
Yeah, but they're gonna play. They're gonna play better teams though. Like
I just
Memphis was not a great team. They're gonna play better teams on the way, and I don't expect them to win. We'll
I
see.
just wonder because I anticipate Texas Tech beating Duke. I was surprised Duke made it the first weekend. I don't think they'll make it past Texas Tech. Do I like Texas Tech against Gonzaga? Does Texas Tech have enough offense to play with Gonzaga?
Hmm.
I'm concerned about that. It's a game of matchups at the end of the day, and I don't know how well Texas Tech matches up. I anticipated Gonzaga already being out, that opening the door for Texas Tech, but if they have to meet up on the court, I don't know if I can pick Texas Tech head to head against Gonzaga. And if Gonzaga's in the
Gonzaga
Final
always
Four,
finds a way to lose. We every year we say this is Gonzaga's year to win it. If there's a year to win it, it's Gonzaga's year, and they find a way to lose every time. I just have no confidence. There's it's no different this year. To what? They're not getting past Carolina. Carolina gonna beat them, Terrence.
well, we're
Carolina
gonna
gonna
see. We're
beat
gonna
them.
have to clip this clip because if UCLA wins, I'm gonna clip this and say, "Oh, Terrence called it." I'm still going with Carolina. I'm still gonna go with them. Keep in mind, though, we live in North Carolina, so we may be a little
Yeah,
biased.
you might be biased.
But I'm gonna
Oh,
stick with them.
now is the young man gonna be suspended for the next game?
I haven't heard of any suspension. If a suspension does happen, that really does may play a
Yeah,
role.
now, if he's suspended, then yeah, all bets is off. Then because they didn't want to shoot after he left. I wouldn't know what was going on. Like that's part of the reason why they lost that lead also. Just not just the rest, but they just stopped shooting. They stopped wanting to shoot. They're getting scared.
I will tell you this though, if UCLA, it's really interesting when you look at that bracket. I still think Purdue is the team I like coming out the bracket. They were the team that I chose at the beginning. We'll see about UCLA. I don't know how I feel about them. I'm still going to stick with Carolina for now. I would like to see a West Coast team really make a run outside of Gonzaga. The Pac-12 has almost been and also ran really in college basketball for a good while, so it's good to see UCLA and Arizona in the Sweet 16. I just don't know how far UCLA has. Even if they get past Carolina, I'd be shocked if they got past Purdue. So, but if that happens, I'll definitely clip it and say Terrence called it again. So we'll see. Any other comments, Trenton? Any other pick right there that you got for us?
Nah.
All right, let's get to our next topic. We've got to talk about the NFL and Trenton. I'm gonna let you share what you got to share, but there was also some breaking news that that some of our sources in our chats have been bringing up. But as you all know, there's been a lot of trades, a lot of movement, teams moving, quarterbacks moving. So much has been going on. I think last time we were on here, we were talking about Von Miller. Now, since then, we've had Tyreek Hill today. We've had
That's crazy.
Deshaun Watson. There's
That's
been
crazy.
so much going on. So Trenton, free agency. There's even rumors about Bobby Wagner potentially signing with the defending champs. I got to bring that up. So with all this going on so far,
Bobby Wagner going to the Rams?
potentially, yeah,
Yikes.
that could potentially go down. So
That's
there's a
scary.
lot going on right now. With everything that's going down right now, Trent, who do you have as your free agency winners and losers as of right now?
My biggest winners, it has to be Tua or the Dolphins, whatever you want to say, Dolphins or Tua. You I gotta give it to them. Getting Tyreek Hill, um, Raheem. Oh,
Can I
I know him from Madden.
can I interject? I was going to say the biggest winners are the Dolphins. People play with the Dolphins and Madden. That's the big
Oh,
winner.
facts.
You got Raheem Mostert. You've got Tyreek Hill. You've got Jalen Waddle. That's going to be my team. But
That's
go
crazy.
go
And then
ahead, man.
Armstead too. I mean, you have to just you gotta say them. I mean, like you need a cornerstone for your offensive line. You add in another speedster who has a lot of experience, Super Bowl pedigree. Uh, maybe some other things questionable, but I'm not gonna touch that. But he, great player. As far as football, great player. So I love what they've done. But my question is, where's this been at? Where's this been at? What? That's what I want to know. But hey, okay. And then Joe, y'all, we saw it. We watched for ourselves as the defensive line from the Rams really won that game. Everybody, I mean, the quarterbacks get the a lot of the credit oftentimes, but really be honest, that defensive line specifically, because their corners was trash. When Burrow had the time, he moved the ball. And it was when he needed the time, he didn't have the time. And it was because of that defensive line. And more importantly, Cincinnati's inability to block. So
I was gonna say that they more lost that game than the
yeah,
Rams won. I
their
mean, when you're
inability to
facing a
block.
bad O line, they make anybody look good. Look at Tennessee with 9 sacks against them in the playoffs. That's a bad offensive line. So
Yeah, man. They signing Collins from the Cowboys is big. That's really big.
yeah,
So we gonna see. I think that's big for them. Even though I've been reading and looking around. It's a little birdie is singing that possibly they could be going after the cornerback. Oh gosh.
you talking about Tyrann Mathieu?
No, the
Yeah.
cornerback from that played for Carolina, the older gentleman.
Gilmore. That's right. We
Gilmore,
did
yeah,
talk about it. Gilmore.
Gilmore. They're going after Gilmore. Oh, and if they get him, man, y'all, you shoot. I'm telling you, that's gonna be. You don't have to. They might get rid of Apple. Get rid of him.
Yeah. Enough of Apple. Yeah. Are they the best team in their division?
I can't say that.
Ain't that kind of crazy? We're like,
I look. Yeah, I can't say that. Will they contend? Yeah, as long as they stay healthy, will they contend to be? Will they be very competitive and contend for finishing in first place in the division? Yeah, but I don't think there's really a few divisions that you can't even say that. Like you can't even say there's a definite number one, like an obvious leader in the division.
You got Baltimore. You've got Baltimore. They're going to be better just by getting healthy people back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that division is. I know the West is probably the West is the best division right now, but the AFC North is right behind.
And then the Steelers, man, they got Mitchell Trubisky. So man, it's about to be
and a really good defense.
That was a joke.
But I'm saying they got a really good defense. That's what I was going to point to. They got a really good defense. But I might talk about the Steelers in a little bit, but we'll get back to that. But that division is insane. But you're right. I think those are two big time winners right now between Tua Tagovailoa. Let me tell you what. If he can't play with this, keep in mind you play the Jets twice a year.
Oh yeah.
If you can't win with this, you can. I'm sorry, bro.
Like really, they're really actually giving. I love it, y'all, because they don't do that for brothers. We don't see that. We don't see that done for brothers often. They are really taking away his excuses. I don't have a line. Okay, we got you. I don't have necessary weapons. Okay, I got you. He's gonna have top tier weapons.
How much offensive help are they getting Justin Fields right now in Chicago? None. You're right about that. They really don't. They really don't. Well, you better turn this water into wine, Justin Fields.
He might be just as good off if me and you go move to Chicago and we let us play receiver and slot. Shoot, we'll let them save some money. Pay me $300,000. I'll do it.
I see Brian up here bringing up Steel Nation. I'm going to talk about the Steelers in a little bit. I promise you I am.
Yeah.
He said, imagine the AFC North as the Steelers draft Malik Willis. That's a possibility. I keep talking about, I'm going to bring up the Steelers pretty soon. I promise y'all. I think it's going to get real interesting. Y'all going to hear what I got to say about them. But yeah, Trent, so that's your off-season winners. Who right now are your off-season losers?
Okay. 2 teams for the same reason. Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers. Big quarterback, they big quarterback contracts. And we've talked about it here. Like these big quarterback contracts I feel like are so detrimental to a team's ability to win the big game, and they're losing players because they can't pay. They're not willing to pay, and I just feel like, I mean, when you sign those big deals, you gotta be you got. I mean, like, if you're gonna sign the big deal, you gotta know what you're gonna lose for because of it, you know. And I look at the Packers losing Devontae Adams. I mean, y'all, the issue up to now has been all they had was Devontae Adams. That's been the problem. Well, Rodgers only has Devontae Adams. They haven't really invested and really gone after other receivers. Now they don't have him. Like, I really don't understand. And I've said this to a couple of people, y'all, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I low key feel like Rodgers is being the ultimate petty right now. I really believe he's destroying the team from within. I low key, y'all, really, because I don't think he really likes the coach. I really don't think I think he got in. It's been some sketchy stuff, some weird things happening. You know, they've had some spats, and I just don't think. I just really don't think he really cares for the organization. And to me, somebody that's going to just take and demand and then take $50 million a year doesn't care about the organization. He can't. And I think I would have let that man walk. Lord, so help me, I would have let him walk. Not for no 50 million, y'all. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Now, I wanted you to get all that out because I agree with you about your point about paying quarterbacks a lot of money. I do want you to know that our resident inside scooper is saying that there's a potential rumor out there of either DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett being traded to Kansas City. So if that does end up happening, that could help alleviate the loss of a Tyreek Hill. So that's just the rumor right now. That's the trade talks going.
Okay.
That may happen. If that does, Kansas City is right back where they were.
Yeah, what's that?
I'd
rather have Metcalf though. Lockett get hurt too often.
You probably got to pay more to get Metcalf too. But then again, they've got all this ammo now from trading Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. So go unload it.
Or there's a lot of speed wide receivers in this draft. So
that's true too. But receivers are I don't really. Oh, look at Terrence.
That means Michael Scott in the office going, no. That's what Terrence is right now. DK Metcalf in Kansas City would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But that I just wanted you to know about that. I want to talk about my offseason winners and losers, and I can't help but start this with the Cleveland Browns. I don't think you guys have realized this, and I brought up this stat to Trenton. Browns QBs have only made one Pro Bowl since 1989.
Good.
One Pro Bowl.
Derek Anderson.
That's how.
He won't that good.
No. Derek Anderson in 2007. The only time a Browns quarterback in the last 30 years has made a Pro Bowl. Deshaun Watson has made 3 already. He is already the best quarterback the Browns have had in 60 years. And like I said, I'm the biggest Baker Mayfield. I'm a huge Baker Mayfield guy. No OU slander allowed on this channel. I'm telling you. With that said, if you got a shot at a top 3 quarterback, you go for it. And the Browns went for it. And the Browns got themselves a top 3 quarterback. They definitely won in this offseason. So that's one. And the other one I've got to bring up is Tampa Bay. Now, we already talked about Tom Brady coming back, but that's not even the reason they won. The reason they won is because the rest of the division is trash.
Shambles.
What are the Panthers doing? I know TJ brought up McAdoo.
You mean nothing.
Yeah. You've got the Falcons that just sitting there on dead money. They've given away $40 million in dead cap money to trade away Matt Ryan. And then they're going to for a third rounder. And they bring in Marcus Mariota. Like, what are you doing? They must be trying to get the quarterback from Bama. They must be tanking for Bryant Young. I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. The Saints, we know what they are. They're going to be a good team. Jameis Winston, we know what he is. Jameis Winston's a good quarterback, but he's not Watson. And you're very happy the Saints are dealing with Jameis rather than dealing with Watson. And like I said, Carolina, like, what is the mess that is the Carolina Panthers? Just a total mess. They swung and missed on Lyle Collins. They swung and missed on Deshaun Watson. They just swing and miss. That's the story of the Panthers. Just swing and miss. That's all they do. Keep pounding, but keep swinging and missing. That's all they be doing. The
Oh, that's
division
so wrong.
is
Hey,
just
look,
atrocious.
you know we got a lot of Panthers fans on my page.
I know, but I'm just letting you know they swung and missed on Lyle Collins. Like,
you gotta get us some hate mail.
What good offseason move have they made? The first good one they make is when they fire Matt Rule and get him out of there and clean office, because it's just ain't it. They got to figure out what they're going to do from the quarterback situation. They said they're still looking, maybe Malik Willis. I like Malik Willis. The Panthers need to take an offensive lineman with that first pick. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If you can't protect him, he's not going to work. And they keep passing on offense. If they draft another defensive player, I'm going to throw up. I'm just so sick of the Panthers taking defensive players in the first round when they should have taken Rashawn Slater, like I was saying last year, and he graded Pro Football Focus the best offensive lineman in the draft. They did not take him. They took a corner that got hurt. So I'm not going to blame. I'm not going to blame him for getting hurt. J.C. Horn. I'm not going to blame him for getting hurt.
He played well though.
He played well, but I played well, but they need a line. If you don't have a line, you can't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have an offense. You don't have an offense. You can't win in this league.
Yeah.
They got to protect him. As much as I like Malik Willis and would love for Carolina to get him. You know
what
else I love
for them to have?
Someone to protect him.
Teddy was not the problem.
Their O-line's been bad since Cam Newton was here the first time.
Yeah.
And they still have never addressed it.
Never.
So they need to get an offensive lineman. So to me, that's the big winners, Tampa and Cleveland. And now I'm gonna talk about my losers. I'm gonna talk about my first major loser, and I think I'm to get my Let Me Rant music going. I need to get my music going. I need to talk for a couple minutes about, I think, the biggest loser right now this offseason, and that's Baker Mayfield. There will be no OU slander allowed on this channel, but I gotta get my music going. I gotta rant a little bit. Okay. Y'all hear me real quick. I gotta talk. I am as big a Baker Mayfield fan as there ever was. Baker Mayfield, when he showed up on the scene, this was a week after OU had beaten Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. Trevor Knight had thrown for 4 touchdowns and was already deemed the preseason Heisman favorite for all of college football. When something like that happens, a quarterback doesn't walk onto that team and try to compete for the starting job. That's what Baker Mayfield did. Then he becomes OU's quarterback. He wins a Heisman. We know what he does at OU. He goes undefeated on the road, beats Tennessee at Tennessee, beats Ohio State. He's getting a trophy built for him in April, #1 overall pick in the draft. And then you get the NFL's version of Baker Mayfield, which is a tale of 2 stories. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield 2020. 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 62% completion percentage, and a 65.5 QBR. After Odell Beckham got hurt, 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. Then people like Skip Bayless start making a narrative that Odell was the problem. And we know what this turns into. Black folk, we know what this turns into. We saw it with Randy Moss. We saw it with T.O. And what did we see? We saw media unfairly blaming Odell as if he's the problem, just like we've seen happen to a lot of our fellow black wide receivers. So you saw a movement, free Odell, free Odell. These were people that were really trying to stand up for what they see is an unfair practice of blaming the black wide receiver. That has happened a lot. And Baker got caught in the midst of it. Eventually, Odell leaves. He goes to the Rams. He wins the Super Bowl. And as Ryan always says in this channel, Odell was not the problem. Of course he wasn't. No, Odell was never a problem.
Never.
And Baker, last year, after tearing his shoulder in week 2, has a terrible year. He could have easily shut it down after week 2. But the reason why he should have. Absolutely should have shut down. Because if you are trying to throw a pass and your shoulder's basically torn, that's going to affect your accuracy, as you see. You're going to start throwing picks. That Packers game, I don't know how you get past it. Your running back's running for 20 yards a carry, and you throw 4 picks and lose. Lasting image in the NFL. That's something that can get you kicked out the league. That's how bad that game was. But he was hurt. That's the same quarterback. Now you look and see what happened. Let me give you a timeline of what went down. Cleveland lets Baker Mayfield's camp know in February, you're our guy, we're going with you forward, unless we have a shot at a major elite quarterback. So everyone's camp knows Aaron Rodgers, they may go for he's available. Russell Wilson, they may go for he's available. And Deshaun Watson. So this was known in February. The stuff happens with Deshaun Watson, they go and pursue him. The issue is not that they pursued Deshaun Watson, because they knew about that. The issue was that Baker Mayfield found out on social media, and he flipped. The bottom line is he should have handled this like Aaron Rodgers and said nothing. But because he was so angry about it, Baker Mayfield tells the organization, I want out. Cleveland goes for Deshaun Watson. They swing and miss. You see the reports from Adam Schefter. The Browns are out. The Browns go back to Baker Mayfield and said, okay, we swung at our league guys. We didn't get him. You're our guy. Baker's like, forget it. I'm not coming back. I'm not playing. I'm not going to training camp. I'm not going to any camps. I might hold out in the regular season. Browns are stuck. They're in a pickle. So what do the Browns do? They go back to Deshaun Watson. We'll give you this mega contract. Deshaun Watson becomes a Cleveland Brown. And now the Browns, probably angry at Baker putting him in this situation, are now holding him basically hostage. You saw Matt Ryan get traded to the Colts for what is essentially a 3rd-round pick. Why is it that the Browns are asking for a first rounder for Baker Mayfield? That's not even the market rate.
Petty.
It's petty. It's absolutely petty. That's the only reason you're doing it. You're not doing it because you really want a first rounder. You're doing it because you want no one to get him to paint the narrative that nobody wants him. That's not the case. You already saw Shannon Sharp on Undisputed. Nobody wants Baker Mayfield. That's not the case. Nobody wants to pay a first rounder for Baker Mayfield. Why would you pay a first rounder for a quarterback that has 1 year left on their deal, that's coming off of an injury and didn't play well last season, when I could pay a 3rd rounder and get Matt Ryan, or I can go in free agency and get Jameis Winston? Any team's going to do that. They're not giving up a first rounder for a quarterback that's got 1 year left on their deal. The only team that does that is a team that's already going to sign him, and no one was going to do that. Baker was going to have to prove it no matter what.
Yep.
So they're purposely holding him. They're going to wait till the quarterback market dries up, and then they're going to release him. There was an article that Pro Football Focus put out there that said they felt like that Baker Mayfield needed to be humbled. And this is what they're trying to do. They're painting a message and a picture that nobody wants him, and then they're going to release him to embarrass him. But Baker's very petty. Baker is extremely petty. And so this is what I think is going to happen. Josh, I know you're on here, Josh. Brian, I know you're on here. Let's talk about the Steelers. A team that, they got Mitchell Trubisky.
Who?
Are they sold on him? You're in a division with Deshaun Watson. You're in a division with Lamar Jackson. You're in a division with Joe Burrow. Let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to wait. Browns are going to wait. They're going to wait. They're going to wait. Then they're going to cut Baker Mayfield. And then Baker Mayfield's going to get a cheap contract and walk into Pittsburgh. That's what's going to happen. You're hearing it here first.
That's a bold statement.
He's going to be on Pittsburgh so that way he can play Cleveland 2 times a year. This is the same guy who walked on to OU when the other guy was a Heisman favorite. Don't think he won't try to walk on to Pittsburgh just so he can play Cleveland twice a year.
Trubisky's not favorite anything.
No. So I'm letting you guys know here now. It's not gonna happen this week. It's not gonna happen this month. It's not gonna happen next month. Cleveland's gonna release him because they don't want to trade him. And then after he gets released, he'll sign with the Steelers. Baker Mayfield will be a Pittsburgh Steeler by the time this is all said and done. That's my call. We'll see what you guys think about that. What do you think, Trent?
I want what you said to happen. That would be like the best football drama that I'm seeing. I'm listening. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. And it would be funny and very interesting to see happen. for him to get back. But I'm more inclined to believe that once he's cut, that somebody like Carolina or Seattle is gonna snatch him up. That's what I think.
I think those teams will be interested. The teams will be interested because don't get it twisted. If Baker Mayfield was being traded for a third or fourth rounder, he'd already be on the team right now.
Yeah, he would.
But not a first rounder. And as big a Baker Mayfield fan as I am, I'm not trading a first rounder away for a quarterback that's 1 year
I
left on
know.
their deal. So they're not going to do that. But what I am going to say is that I think he would love to be in Pittsburgh. I think if there's any front office and organization that could handle people with big personalities, it is Pittsburgh. I think he's an upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky. I think if you get 2020 version of Baker Mayfield with Claypool and Deontay Johnson and with a coach like Mike Tomlin, I think it can be successful. Um, that's my opinion of what I think is going to happen. But no doubt about it, I don't think Baker Mayfield, I think Baker Mayfield is being held for the purposes of being embarrassed, and then he's going to get cut, and then he's going to be petty. He's going to be looking for revenge. So that's why I really do believe that's where he'll end up at the end of the day, whether it's in July or August. I believe Mayfield will be a Steeler. But right now, he's my biggest loser right now this offseason based on how everything's gone down.
That reminds me of Adrian when he left, when we didn't want to, we wanted him to we didn't want to pay him, and he took lesser money to go play with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Then what we offered him, he wanted a big this extravagant number, and because we didn't offer him the big money, he took like pennies to go play with the Saints. So,
and I think the main reason was because they played y'all week 1. So I think he was like, yeah, I'm gonna show them. But people can be petty like that, and I think Baker's a very pretty petty guy. So I really do believe that. I think Baker Mayfield's going to be a Steeler. I know Josh is like, I don't like that. I'm telling you, if you get 2020 Baker, I think it's good enough with you guys' defense. I think it's good enough. I mean, that division is going to be tough with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson. You guys don't want to be.
I already have Baker Mayfield and Mitchell Trubisky. I'm just being honest. A healthy Baker over a Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. And I know there's quarterbacks in the draft like Malik Willis and
I rather have Donovan Mitchell than Mitchell Trubisky.
Did you really?
I'm so serious.
He said he'd rather have Donovan Mitchell than Mitchell Trubisky. Wow.
Shoot.
But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen at the end of the day. I think. Let me know what you guys think. Let's see what happens. Do you think what's going to happen with Baker? You think he ends up getting cut? Do you think he ends up in Tampa, Carolina, Seattle? I think you get 2020 Baker. Keep in mind, like I said, a healthy Baker is a good Baker, but a Baker with a torn shoulder is not a very good Baker. Yeah. So I'm really interested to see what happens, and I think in that sort of structure, I think Baker Mayfield can thrive, and the Steelers can be right in it.
I think Carolina should get him personally.
I do think so too. I think
Carolina should get him.
I think so too, but I don't think they should pay a first rounder for him.
If he's healthy, I'm talking about no. See how Cleveland has gone about. They've ruined their even negotiation really, because you went and got the quarterback before you. Because to me, it would have been common sense to go. Once I would have even agreed to what I was going to do with Watson, I'd have said, hold my drink. Now I'm gonna trade Baker. And it's trade him first. I'd have traded him first. Maybe do whatever you want to do, but I would have got rid of him first and got what I could have got for him. But I think their pettiness is, they're gonna miss out on something that they could have got. You never know. You could get a good player in the third, fourth round. So I don't get that. But
I like I said, I think the first round pick is on purpose to detract people.
Yeah. So, but I think at this point, I see y'all with 2 quarterbacks. So I'm not going to trade anything. I'm just going to wait and join the bidding war for him when he get out.
Then they went and traded and got more quarterbacks. So that lets you know, they're definitely not keeping Baker when they went out and they signed more quarterbacks to be backups. They don't even anticipate Baker being a backup. So this is
because I go with because they're not going to be willing to pay but so much for Baker anyways. So. So I go and I offer him a 1-2 year contract,
And let me be careful with this comparison because I definitely don't want to say it's not the same thing. I got to put that in the
Wait a minute now,
disclaimer.
Omar. What you about to
I
say?
got all I'm saying is that when the NFL wants to be petty
Mm-hmm.
and when teams want to be petty, they can be petty.
What you
When
about?
teams want to purposely not sign people or purposely not go after people, we've known the NFL to do that, even if their stats say they should be gone after. But for some reason, those players are not given real opportunities to be on teams. They can do that if they want to do it. Now, I'm not comparing Baker Mayfield to Colin Kaepernick. I'm not doing it. I'm just talking about the NFL's willingness to be petty. So I'm just letting you know that's what I believe this is. This is just another situation where they want to be petty. The only thing about trading him before the Watson deal was a little bit of an interesting situation in that they had to do a trade with Houston. Houston had to agree to the trade, and then they had to negotiate with Watson to get Watson to let go of his no trade contract
Yeah, but
clause.
but that's what I'd have done. I would have got all that settled. Then I would have
So
gone. Then I would have gone. I would say, wait, we're gonna do this, but let us
because
deal. Let us deal. Let us deal the headache right
because the
quick.
problem
We'll be
is,
back.
had they done that, then got rid of Baker, and then Watson doesn't pick Cleveland, now you're up that's where it gets really
Yeah,
interesting. So believe it or not, I don't blame the front office of Cleveland at
I
all
don't
for
either.
pursuing Deshaun
I
Watson.
don't either. I'm like,
I
come on,
do
bro.
blame them for purposely not being honest as far as trying to trade Baker and trying to basically send a message. I do blame them for that. They're very purposeful in that. Any other comments, Trenton? I know I had to get that out because Baker's my dude. Um, all right. We've got one more topic. I know it's getting past 10:15. We've got one more topic. We've got to discuss this. Um, we were going to talk about Chet Holmgren. We were going to talk about the Boston Celtics and stuff. There's been a lot that's happened in sports. Um, the one thing that did catch my my radar was what happened with David Ojaba and
Yeah,
the Michigan Pro Day.
yeah.
And he's out there doing drills, and then he basically gets injured, hits the ground. Um, we now know it's a significant injury. And what caught everyone off guard is how everyone acted
The
like nothing
indifference.
happened.
The indifference. The
The
indifference is
total,
chilling.
the yeah, just the total lack of respect. And I want to share a quote from Louis Riddick that he put on Twitter. And he said, video of people walking past David Ojaba in the immediate aftermath of his going down with injury, which turned out to be a devastating one, is infuriating. No empathy, no assistance at all until medical professionals could help them. This is a relationship business, man. That isn't it. So, Trenton,
I really believe that like Michigan really messed up with this. I don't know if that was all their people that was there or what, but I really think this is bad. I mean, like, who? Imagine somebody who's like, who their son is intending to go to Michigan. They see that. Like you'll lose recruits over something like that. That was ugly. Like, oh, like I mean, is that how y'all gonna be? Why am I gonna sit? Why am I gonna entrust my son to come to your school? And that's how y'all are. Like, I was shocked. When I saw it, I was just like, even if you can't touch them, it is some type of thing if you can't touch them because the medical stuff, y'all could at least came down like you do it, like the people do in the game, like the kneel or whatever, and it come through. And I mean, like, bro, it was just like, man, excuse me, they got the ball. Hey, let's move up here.
this was a more serious, ugly version of the Allen Iverson Tyrone Lue, as far as I'm concerned. Somebody tears their Achilles and they just step over him and just keep the drill moving. This was just wrong on every single level. And it just showed how cold-hearted I really believe some of these, NFL teams. And let me share this. Because if it wasn't for Baker Mayfield, this would have been my let me rant. Because I get so sick of people getting angry because players are treating this game like it's a business. When NFL teams treat it like it's a business. When players turn around and get cut. When players lose, when they cut people in the middle of their contracts, what's the first thing they say? It's a business. It's
Yeah,
a business. The
yeah,
NFL's a cold business.
yeah.
But what happens when, when the player's doing what's best for his rights?
He's not a
All
team player.
it makes me want to puke. I get so tired of hearing these. Man, it's just it infuriates me. It infuriates me how angry it gets that people want the players to treat it like a game, but don't have a player time with the teams treating it like a business.
Yeah,
We keep being told it's a business. Don't be surprised when players act like it.
yeah. Do what's best. Do what's best for them. That's why I mean, like, I ain't mad at. I ain't mad. I'm not mad at at Rodgers because I said that earlier. I'm not mad at Rodgers, but what I do question the person's will to win. Like I know at this point in his career, I mean, I would think that it's not about money. You know what I mean? Like, of course you want it, but you know what it takes to win. He knows that it takes a team. He knows that he's gonna need players around him. And for him, I just feel like, yo, bro, like, why would you demand so much unless that's why I feel like he's being petty. Like, I feel like I really low-key feel like he's sabotaging on purpose. I really do. I really do. I don't
He
I
may
don't think
be.
he cares about
He
the organization. I don't think he likes the coach. Because I think look, watch the coach get fired and then he restructures.
I think there's a whole lot of truth to that. Keep in mind, and this is
I
why
would not be shocked.
this is
Coach and GM gone. Oh, he restructures the quarter. They, knowing the owner, he has that type of personality and even just that confidence and just that pull that I think the owner would even consider his opinion for hires. He would. Yeah, he would.
now
And under those circumstances, I restructure for y'all.
a couple things. Now the Packers don't actually have an owner because they're owned
Oh, that's
by
right. That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
But
Yeah, I forgot
I
that. Yeah.
do want to say that I agree with you. Keep in mind the stuff that the coach was saying after they drafted Jordan Love. When they were
Exactly.
saying, "Oh, now we can keep
Exactly.
Rodgers under control.
Yeah.
Now
And then
maybe Rodgers won't try to mess this up."
and then
Oh
like
no, Rodgers does not like
and
those
then you
people.
really show your hand because the boy's trash.
And this is why I was saying Baker should have said not a word. Had Baker not said a word, Deshaun Watson would either be in Atlanta or he would be in New Orleans. He could have went out and balled out this year, and then when Cleveland's trying to negotiate with him, he could have said, "I'm not signing any contract unless Andrew Berry's fired. I'm not signing any contract until that person's gone and that person's gone." And if you gone out and you played well, you have leverage. You can't do that with a
I had to
35
throw him,
QBR.
I had to throw him 4 picks.
You can't do that then. But if you play like you did in 2020, you'd have that type of leverage where you can say, "I want him gone, I want him gone, I want him gone." And that's what Rodgers did.
Yeah.
Rodgers didn't say nothing. He just went out there and balled out. And then when he balled out and won MVP, because the word was his game was declining.
Mm-hmm.
But he went out there and he balled out, and then he showed his leverage. Baker lost all his leverage by acting out now. But like I said, at the end of the day, I don't mind players showing and going after their own and protecting themselves. Keep this in mind. Randy
You
Gregory,
gotta be smart about it though.
keep in mind Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory had talked about how he was going to play for Dallas, saw the language in the contract, did not like it, went to Denver and said, "Oh, Randy Gregory showed his true colors. Oh my goodness. Randy Gregory is a traitor. Oh my goodness. Randy Gregory, he's just what he's doing is not right. He's
Why you sound like a
dishonest to the
wrestling
team."
announcer, Randy Orton? That's what you want to say.
I'm being Skip Bayless right now. That's what I'm being. I'm like, man, just and fans acting like that. You know what's interesting? When you talked about the Bengals signing Lyle Collins, did you know they had agreed to a contract with another tackle 30 minutes ago, like 30 minutes prior? And then when Lyle Collins signed, they cut him 30 minutes after signing him.
No,
Oh, where's the Bengals backlash? Oh, the NFL is a business, so it's okay for them to do it. But don't let Randy Gregory do what's best for him, because if he isn't, he's a turncoat. Oh, he's the problem. Get out my face. Get out my face.
Wow, that's a very good point, Omar. Very and a perfect example. Wow, that's crazy.
It's just they don't have a problem when the team does it, but how dare a player look after their own right? I
Mm,
I get so sick of those fans. They're toxic. They really are. And just because you, Joe Schmo, who works a regular job and is not the best in the world at their craft, would accept a lower tier contract doesn't mean that they should.
mm,
That's why, and that you say, well, I would accept that contract. Well, you're not them and you don't have their talent. And that's why it really doesn't matter what you think. They're going to do what's best for them and their family, just like the team does what's best for them.
mhm.
That's what they should do. If the teams are going to treat it like a business, so should the players. So I ain't got no problem with that. Trenton, you got anything else you got to say?
I'm good. I'm good.
I gotta address Cedric Miller. I'm so glad to see him. Thank you so much, Sid, for being right. He said Carolina is going O line after that terrible performance. I pray they do, but you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna take somebody on defense. Carolina, they can't help it. They're gonna take another defensive player, probably a linebacker. I could see it in
Or
me.
a pass rusher because they lost their pass rush. One of the pass rushes.
Yeah, they'll get a pass rusher. Yeah, because that pass rusher is really gonna help keep our quarterback upright.
Nope.
When Sam Darnold is throwing 3 picks in 10 passes, I'm sure that pass rusher is gonna help. You know, I'm just saying, man.
Oh, you mean it's gonna be against the Eagles? It's gonna be Reddick, so it is kind of like Carolina's a former Carolina player.
Man, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, if they get a quarterback, I won't be mad if they get a quarterback like Malik Wills. I won't be mad because I like Malik Wills. Please get an O-line. Get an O-line. If you don't have that, it doesn't matter who the quarterback's going to be. How many quarterbacks are going to suffer back there because they won't get no protection? So that's what I got to say. And Trent, you got anything to say? Did you want to talk about Zadarius Smith? I know you wanted to bring that up, didn't you?
Yo, my boys, I like what my boys did. Zadarius Smith, Harrison Phillips. I like those two signings, but they I will say, I will admit that it's Phillips, not Phillips. Phillips is solid. Phillips is a D tackle from the Bills. Boy, he's a monster, and putting him beside Dalvin Tomlinson is going to be very, very good for us. But both Smith, and then we paid Daniil Hunter's signing bonus at 18 million this past weekend. So those are gonna be our two pass rushers. And they are definitely, I don't know, y'all. Smith had missed most of last season with that back. He got healthy and made that return in the playoffs. He played in that playoff game, but I'm worried. I'm just worried. People with significant areas and injuries. I'm worried signing the guy and paying him giving him a big 3-year contract for 3 years, 42 million, and then he can make up to 47. I'm not mad, but I'm suspicious. It can work out. And I understand it. And I will say, also say, I understand it. I'm not upset at all, but I'm worried. I am worried, and I'm gonna be watching it. Hopefully, it'll work out. Then choosing to pay Daniil Hunter probably is even more. And that one too. I don't know, but I understand for the fact that trading him, you're not going to get nearly what he's worth if he works. If he goes back to himself, you're not going to get it because of the injuries. So I understand it's going ahead and saying, well, we're just going to go with him. I get it.
Oh,
And
so
hoping that it pans out.
So you're just not going to trade a great player for pennies on the dollar like the Chicago Bears did with Khalil Mack?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Well, that's why they're the Bears. So,
The Bears.
we love you. We love you. We love you, Ruff. We love you, Ruff, man. I don't know what your Bears are doing. I don't know what they're doing. Obviously, it's not helping their quarterback. I don't know what they're doing. That's the last thing they want to do. So, but yeah, the NFL is a cold-hearted business, man, and we just have to live with that reality. But other than that, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this week of sports. We've got more March Madness games. The next time we come on, there'll only be 4 teams left trying to vie for that national title. So very excited. There'll be more NBA news, more NFL news. And so we're excited. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the OT Sports Show. Like I said, we're here every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, 9-ish. Normally
I
we're
want
trying
to
to
say
get stuff together.
9-ish.
Kojic 9 o'clock. That's what it would be. We'd be a Kojic 9 o'clock.
Now.
We get there when we can get there. But we do our
CP.
best. We love you guys. Thank you all so much. Continue to like, share, let people see this. Our goal is just basically to have a big sports conversation with everybody. We love interacting with every one of you guys. So thank you all so much. We love you all, Trent. Anything else, man? Anything else y'all want to say?
Hey, go Vikes.
Go Vikes. All right, we'll see what happens. Like I said, Terrence, if UCLA gets up there, I'm gonna make another clip. I'm gonna call y'all out, man. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you all so much for being a part once again of the OT Sports Show. Once again, we'll be here every Wednesday, 9 o'clock. We'll see you guys there. Thank you all so much. Have a good day.